All right, we are back, and it's time for draft talk. We have Adam Aniba of the Burgundy and Gold Report. Let's get into the draft, man. There's obviously we're at pick 19. It's kind of no man's land. We need a quarterback. We need a receiver. We need linebackers. What do we do with that pick? All right, let's take it in sections. Let's say they want to trade up for a quarterback. We know the big four. All right. You got Lawrence, Wilson are definitely going to be gone. Those are probably out of reach for us. Let's talk a little bit about Trey Lance and Justin Fields. What do you think about them?
I'm glad you brought them up. And I said earlier with Keith, it's not that I'm saying again that these are the guys that I'm trying to go after. But what I'm saying is it's realistic.
Yeah.
And Trey Lance and Fields are the perfect situations because I'm actually leaning more towards Lance because I think if you brought him in and turned his system, he has more of a chance to, I don't know about win the job right away, but he probably have his athleticism, I think, would blow them away.
Sure.
Fields, on the other hand, I think his issues with reading the field would cause concern. I don't think he would start right away. So I think I'll just bring it back to Lance. And I think what that's going to take from 19, you're talking about a package that's probably going to include, their swapping picks this year, next year's first, probably second this year. It's going to be really rich, more picks than that. So I think they might think about that, but they'll come up short. That's what I'm saying. And I think they're going to swing on a lot of things, but they're going to miss on them. So that's pretty much where they're at. 19. It's not going to be in play for a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I know you're a huge Alabama fan. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewind just a touch. Regardless if we get Fields or Lance, I'd want them to sit for a year.
Yes.
I would want a veteran quarterback to come in here, and I want them to sit and learn for a year, especially in my opinion, Lance, just because he just doesn't have the experience. He started one full year on FBS, and it was a great year.
Right.
Don't get me wrong,
right.
But lesser competition, less experience.
Right.
Sit him down. Let's do it right. If we're going to get a young quarterback, do it right.
Right.
Just
agreed.
Got to do it right.
Agreed.
Let's speak on Mac Jones a little bit. There's a lot of fans that really like Mac Jones,
but there's a lot of fans who don't, and that's why. Sorry to cut you off, Jesse.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
That's why I wanted to have Marshall on.
Yeah, and we're going to have him on because I know he's a big Mac Jones fan, and I want him to try to talk me out of my what I think about Mac Jones.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have him on, but unfortunately there was just conflicting schedules and he couldn't do it. So we're definitely going to get him on. But
you're going to get both sides, so it's perfect. You're going to get his side, you're going to get my side, and they're going to be two totally different sides, guys.
Just to all the listeners out there, you are an Alabama Crimson Tide fan.
Since Chris Samuels, it's when I really started getting into evaluation on like just a hobby level was Chris Samuels. When Chris Samuels was a freshman at Alabama, I was actually more into watching Miami, but I really got into him and then boom, they drafted him. So it got me more watching all the players and Mac Jones. Easy. Okay. You have to surround him, not with a number one wide receiver, a number one running back. You have to surround him with nothing but potential number one.
Agreed 1,000%.
They bail him out constantly. His issue with the arm strength that people look past that, look at Drew Brees and other, prospects that come in and say, but that was years. It took those guys. If you're going to do that with Mac Jones, you do not spend a first round. You have to have a 4-year plan. And like I said, I have him listed on the tier of career backups. A guy like Kyle Trask is another one that
I put them in the same bubble right there.
I actually don't even have him as backup because I get the guy didn't play any high school ball. He played some Florida ball, and he had Kadarius Toney and Pitts, one of the sickest tight ends I've seen in the last 15 years. So again, talent makes guys look good.
It does.
So Mac Jones at 19, I know people are going to go. I'm not going to badmouth them. They see what they see. Evaluators, we all see what we see. But with Mac Jones, it's simple. If you don't have that talent around him, you're going to have to, he's going to have to use some athleticism, and he does have some, but he does not have enough to go against NFL caliber talent.
Yeah.
And he's going to get destroyed, and it's not going to be pretty. Like you look at Daniel Jones. I'm not a fan of his either, but the guy can at least run to preserve things. But look how he's turning out. He's a way better prospect than Mac Jones. So I think when you talk about Mac Jones, look at someone like, you know, in New York and see how that went with a, you know, quarterback can be mobile. Mac Jones is nothing but that. You don't have to be mobile, but if people talk about Tom Brady's body style, man, look how long that took time to develop. So
the drop back passer, it's a dying breed in the NFL.
I agree.
You know, it is moving towards, you have to have mobility to be able to succeed. Everybody's moving towards mobility. And well, especially with our offense, the way Turner wants to run our offense, you saw it. The more mobile you were, the better the offense ran. Plain and simple this year.
Right. Well, that's why Taylor Heineke was so impressive in that playoff game, because he was able to, you know, sense the pocket breaking, you know, he sensed the push, and, you know, he rolled out a lot, made plays with his feet. And, you know, that was something that we have not seen in, you know, a very long time, something that we thought Haskins may be able to do, but just always came short.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for, you know, Heineke mania, you know, in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah. I have a Mac Jones before the Senior Bowl. I had him as a round 4 prospect. After the Senior Bowl, I moved him up around to maybe the end of round 3. And I don't think I've come off that. I've watched a lot of tape on him, and I agree with everything that you said, Adam. You might have him ranked a little bit higher than me, but I've had people cuss me out for thinking that he was anything less than a round 1 prospect. It's crazy.
That's interesting.
There's a small group of people that are so Mac Jones crazy that I just go back and watch the games. You can see the 5 to 8 yard separation that the receivers are getting. You have an NFL caliber offensive line. You have 2 of the top 3 receivers coming out of the draft. You have a fantastic running back. I could be good behind the Crimson Tide if I played quarterback, I think, in my opinion.
It's an easy, and this is the problem. We got a long time to the end of April. We've got no combine, guys.
I know that's
so what happens is there's no combine to dissect the shit out of him. So if he goes to the combine, you're right. He's going to stay in that 4th round range because once they get him out on the field, they're going to pick him apart. And the body matters. The speed matters. When you start seeing 5.71 speed or 4, now I'm going to say he's that slow, but you know, if he pretty slow, you know, they're going to drop him to the late 3rd, 4th round. So he's going to be helped. You know, he's one of the few guys that's going to get help from
he will. I have a feeling he will go into the 1st round at some point because there are so many quarterback needy teams. I just don't think it's going to be us.
Man, I hope you're right.
I can probably guarantee it. I just don't see him as a fit in our offense. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about wide receivers. What do we got? There's a ton of them in this draft. I think there might be more receivers in this year's draft than there was in last year's draft. What do you think, Adam?
I love the depth, but I love the versatility. Mm-hmm. You know, this week, a lot of people were looking how the guy's going to run at the pro days. And I have to say, you know, props to Washington. I was saying to my wife earlier, she's, you know, really following a lot of stuff. They released the pro days from around the league. Around college. I've never seen Washington do that. So bravo to them, because that just lets the layman fan know what's going on. You know, in saying that, there's just so much talent. And my particular focus has been slot. Because I'm a firm believer that with Terry McLaurin, I don't think you need a wide receiver 1, but I see the whole juju because you still got to have veterans. You got to have guys in place. Sure. You can't just draft 3 rookies and slam them in. So, you know, aside from that, you know, you're talking about a guy like Justin Bateman from Minnesota. Everyone thought that guy was going to be a 4.6 guy. That guy's 6'2", just ran a 4.38. That's telling you this was a deep draft that just got a lot deeper. Oh, yeah. You know, I've started evaluating guys in the late day through. Shai Smith, South Carolina.
I like him. I do. As a late round pick, I absolutely do like him.
You know,
after the what round do you think he's projected in?
Prior to the Senior Bowl, he was in that 4th, 5th round by you know, a lot of evaluators. I think he definitely jumped up to probably the 3rd. And I think you could see Washington with that late 3rd round pick, he would definitely be available.
I'd be happy with that. Absolutely.
You know, and that's why, like, you know, we'll talk about first round, but, you know, first round, I think with the wide receiver depth, what that means is you could really go for what you need the most, in my opinion, is filling that middle linebacker spot.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I think if you can get that going, everything else will, you know, flow.
Yeah. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, Adam, let me ask you this. So now with the departure of, you know, Kyle Smith, now we have the Martys and everybody else and their brother, right? Where do you see, has it been discussed? I don't know if I've read any information out there as far as or paid attention to the past of, you know, what Hurney, even though I know Hurney, it's not just Hurney, it's Mayhew and so on and so on, but I haven't really paid too much attention to how they have actually drafted. Do they believe in the BPA system?
You know what's interesting? What's interesting is everyone is going on the track record Mayhew had in Detroit. But from what I'm hearing from a lot of people, and a lot of people in the beginning, I was at, you know, just putting feelers around, asking questions. They're saying that what he did in San Francisco, although he wasn't in the highest role like he was in Detroit, they said he actually found a lot of mid to late round gems. So that's what I'm hoping from. You know, first, second round, I'll be honest with you, I think any GM can hit on those guys. But when you start to get to, you know, the third, fourth, and then beyond, you've seen Kyle Smith hit home run after home run. And for what I hear, it's a philosophy issue with him. I understand the guy wants to run his room. He wants to run everything, and Ron Rivera won't let him do that. So in saying that, with these guys, I think that although they might have their own style, they look what's worked. And look how the defense of Washington's line was built. The simple fact that they followed a blueprint, I think they'll continue to follow a blueprint. And look at a team like Kansas City, you know, any team with a high-powered offense. And like I said, to do that, you bring speed, and you start there with a slot. You don't get one slot, you get 2, 3 slots. And I think in this draft, you just start adding speed to Terry McLaurin. Yeah. You add tight ends. I think you can get good real fast.
Okay.
I hear. Well, let's move over to my favorite side of the ball, to the defense. You said linebackers, and I have a man crush on one linebacker in particular. I want Xavier Collins at 19. I don't care. I don't care if people think it's too early. I want him. What do you think, Adam?
I actually wrote about him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and the sad
I
thing
read
is,
that article.
Man, he's going to be number one, man. He's going to go in front of Parsons. I think in the end,
I don't like the sound of that, man. Come on, you're breaking my heart here.
If the combine happened, he would have gone top 10. I'm telling you, he's that good. I think what happened is he's someone that got hurt by the combine, but I think after there was so many evaluators out there calling him strictly an edge, I thought it was hilarious because you know what they were doing, bro? This is what they're doing. They're looking at the box scores, but then they didn't slide all the way over to the interceptions. They looked 6'4", 260. Nah, we need him on the edge. Man, this dude is a center fielder who was a dual threat high school quarterback. He was awesome. This guy in Washington's offense will kill it. You might see a trade up for him. We're talking about quarterbacks, everything. I could see a trade up from 19 within the 15. The Raiders, I heard the Raiders are the team to look for him.
I'd
go
be
from
okay
19
with that.
to 15, and you're using your third round picks, I'm with it. But
I'm okay with that. He would be our center fielder, our man in the middle for years to come. And you know how Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio like those linebackers, man. Yeah. He would be perfect. I think his pass rushing ability is secondary to his coverage and his run game. I mean, he averaged 32 yards per interception. Yeah. You know. And he scored on half of his interceptions that he's had last year. I mean,
remember this. He had an interception at the 2-yard line in a deciding game, and there was no wide receiver could catch him.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
2-yard line, 97 yards. It was the final. That says a lot. So you know, 6'4", 260. They're saying they're waiting for the pro day. We could hear a 4.42 is what I'm hearing.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, and I think you're right about a possibility of him moving above Parsons in a sense that, you know, the off the field issues that came out about Micah might hurt him even more. I'd be sad to see it because I got Collins pegged at 19. If I had to put money on it, I would say, because I know they're now, listen, there are a couple other good linebackers that you could get later in the first or especially in the second round. Is it Shaz Stewart?
Surratt,
it's Surratt. I think he would be a good one. Even Baron Browning later on, he would be a good one. But they're nothing that stacks up to a player like Collins.
Well, do you guys want to know my opinion?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, the fuck you don't, because I have no idea half the fucking people you're talking about. But carry on, fellas, carry on.
For those who don't know, Keith's not into the draft as the nerds like me and Adam are. So just putting that out there. Adam, you cover a lot of small school guys. Most of us who interact with you in Twitter know that. Give me two guys that you have an eye on that you'd like Washington to target.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about guard. Okay, we're talking about making Brandon the highest paid guard in the NFL. Well, I got a name for you. That's Brandon Moore from Grambling. He's right now. I've done a couple of small schools. He's my number one small schooler. Last year was Kyle Duggar. We sat down with him. November of 2019. They had him ranked at 200. He went 32 to the Patriots. I have that in the same realm with this guy. I think we're going to see him in that third, fourth round range. He was previously in the sixth. He went in the Senior Bowl. I just like to tell anyone out there, there's not a huge amount of tape. He's from Grambling, but Doug Williams actually invited him personally at the Senior Bowl. This guy is a guy, you look at him, it's just a shade under 6'1", but he's 350 pounds. And you say, okay, he's a power guy. So, you have to be a system. Man, they had this guy in space all year at Grambling. And the Senior Bowl, not only did he flatten the guy just turned over and he jumped on him and hit him again. Wow. This guy, we talking about silverback. That's what they're referring to this guy. They're saying, he's way more dangerous than Trent Williams. And Trent Williams is a superior athlete, left tackle animal, but as far as dangerous, they're saying this guy is just getting better and better and better.
That's high praise.
So David
right
Moore,
that's for sure.
Grambling, dude is sick. Everyone, go watch his, YouTube and stuff. If you watch the full games, that's the best way to see it. But man, the dude is awesome.
Got to check that out. Check it out. Who else you got?
Right now, as far as impact starters, it's a hard year for small schoolers, man, because a lot of them had the East-West Shrine games canceled. A lot of guys are relying on, YouTube and there's not even pro days for some of them. But I will bring up a guy I had on our podcast last night. His name is Jeremy Bell from Charleston University. It's at real small school level, West Virginia. He was actually similar like Kyle Duggar last year that I interviewed. He actually came into that school redshirted, but never actually started. But he went and had one of his best games of the year against a Division I program, had 2 interceptions. He is the guy that is just like Jimmy Moreland. So I think if you can have 2 Jimmy Morelands on a team, it can't go wrong. But Jeremy Bell from University of Charleston, I'll have an article coming about him. Right now they've pegged him as the undrafted range, but in Washington, if you got that 7th round pick and, you still haven't really addressed quarterback, man, he's perfect fit to bring in with Jimmy Moreland. Jeremy Bell, man, he's awesome.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Well, this is about time to wrap it up. Keith, you got anything else for us, my man?
No. You know how earlier I said that I'd throw out a third Kaka? I'm going to pass on this one. Honestly, I think this one, there's a couple things. This one's a legal situation that I don't think I want to touch. So if I do, I'd prefer to tweet it. But then again, I don't even know if I want to tweet it just because I know that there's corn in the field. And I'm not trying to get caught up in it, so I might stay away from this one. But that's all I got.
Sounds wise.
Adam, what are you working on for the Burgundy and Gold Report in the future? What's coming up, man? What can we?
Yeah, man. Anybody's out there, follow me at the BNG Report on Twitter. But yeah, we started this site. It's right now we're hitting about a month and a half now. It's the new site, the Burgundy and Gold Report.com. What we did is we bring all of the Washington football news up from their website, so you don't have to go over there, waste your time. We save all of that over. We have all our podcasts, and tonight will be up there. But our main thing is our prospect card section. It's been a dream of mine. I've always been a big card guy when I was a kid. I try to figure out how can we do this on the website. So what I did is created our draft prospect section. I'll actually do this after the draft, so I'll have all the Washington picks as well. It's a one-click, click the player card. You've got your evaluation, your YouTube, and your outlook and your fit in Washington. So again, it's your one-stop shop. Right now, I don't know. I don't see anyone doing what I'm doing. I think if you come and check it out, I think you'll learn a lot. So if you're a guy like Keith, it's really diehard, Washington fan trying to figure out just a little bit about the draft, go to Prospect Cards, man. You'll make you sound like the smartest guy in the bunch, man.
Yeah, sounds like it's a perfect site for people like me who don't get too involved.
Yeah. It's not an insult to anyone. It's like, hey, who the hell knows about, Lane Hatcher from Arkansas State, come to my site, you know what I mean? But then you want to go about top 5 guy, I'll bring you that too. So check it out, guys.
I will attest. I've been following Adam for well over a year now. He's got great stuff. If you don't follow him, you need to give him a follow. Is it at the B&G Report or B&G Report? Is that your handle?
Yeah, it's at the B&G Report. Yeah. And then, like I said, the website, the Burgundy and Gold Report.com.
All right. Well, this concludes our guest interview with Adam Aniba. Please stay tuned because we have the Jerry Jones interview coming right up. And we will see you guys next time. Hail to the team.
Hail DC, guys. Have a great one.
Adam, man, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate